I'm here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
Grace.
And where are you from?
Grace from Scotland.
From Scotland?
Yeah.
How often did you come to Medjugorje?
We don't know how many times we've been. We think we've come, I think the first time was 16 years ago, but we haven't really counted. We set out not to count the number of years. We didn't come during COVID.
Yeah.
And maybe missed another year or two, but we've come every year. Other than that, yes, so we love it.
Why do you love it? What is Medjugorje for you?
I think it's just such a special place. Do you know, I think you're just so aware of the presence of Our Lady in Medjugorje, of that closeness, and of that need to be close, and always her bringing you closer to her Son. Do you know, and that's a journey, and it takes a long time. And sometimes it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back.
Yes, that's how it goes, no?
Do you know that 16 years, you know, it's not brought 60, you know, it's a slow process. That's what Our Lady says, it's a slow process. But you know, you need to persevere, and you need to, as long as you're moving in the right direction, I think that's the thing that's important. Keep your eye on the end goal. And just keep going. So that's, yes, absolutely, keep your eye on Our Lady and you keep going, and hope that you bring a bit of it back home and that you share it with your family, and that's all you can do, because we live in hope as well and trust. We come here and we hope and we trust and we believe and we try and share it, and that's what we've done over the years.
But you said you hope, you trust. If you trust, you must have experienced a God who is loving, who is listening to your prayers, no? Oh
gosh, I don't think you get to this age without having had such challenges in your life that you couldn't have got there on your own.
Yeah.
So you know that God's there, you know that He's with you, because you wouldn't be here otherwise. Do you know, well, I think, no, not be here, but in, you know, that surviving still with your faith and still with that love. You might be here in another form, but you know, to be here and to know that you're loved, you know, and it's yours for the taking, even after hard things happening. Then that's what it's all about, I think.
And when these hard things happen to you afterwards saw that you were drawn closer to God by these hard things?
I think you do. I think you do. I don't think you realise it at the time. I don't think you even realise that God's there at the time when things are hard in your life. It's only when you look back, it's in reflecting, isn't it, that you realise that He's always been there, and you do come out of it better and stronger and more determined to persevere, more faithful. You do. Absolutely. It's there for a reason. And we won't know that reason until the end. We won't know that reason until we see Him and we can look back with Him. Yeah. And that'll be a bit story. I know that reflection, yeah. Do you know? Yeah.
And what did you think when you heard first time about Medjugorje? Did you believe it?
Well, I didn't really know much about Medjugorje before I came. Before I found it, there was something in our bulletin at the church, and I had said to Dennis, my husband, I think I would quite like to go. And there was a meeting, and I had gone along to the meeting, but I thought, don't know if that's really for me. It wasn't. So I sort of left it, and then a while later there was a phone number, and it just said to phone, and I spoke to this person who said, go to this church and pay your money and come. So when we came, we really didn't have very much idea. I just had this thing that I knew that I wanted to come. I had a vague idea of the story, but we didn't know anybody that had been. We hadn't spoke to anybody that had come here, and we both came on our own for the first time. And I suppose, to be fair, and I think Dennis would, I was quite surprised that Dennis agreed to come. He wasn't a pilgrimage person really. I'd been to Lourdes with my mum and things like that. But however, we both came for that first time, and we've both come back every year we can ever since. The first time when we came here, they used to say, Our Lady calls you to Medjugorje, you don't. And I think there is a reason. I think there was something, the Holy Spirit was working there, and we were meant to be here, because it was making us stronger. Yeah. And we needed that probably. Yeah, so I didn't know much about it. Know lots about it now and tell everybody that'll listen. But it's a slow process convincing other people as well sometimes, isn't it? But it's been great for us and we love it. And we've made lots of good friends and had lots of wonderful experiences here, yeah.
You have one experience, what happened to share with people?
No, well, I don't know, we made very, very good friends, and friends that aren't with us anymore. One friend in particular who we carry here in our heart every step.
Wow, so beautiful.
She was lovely. And she loved Medjugorje, and she was so inspiring, and she brought so many people to Medjugorje. She was so beautiful. And that's what keeps you going, you know, as well. It has been great. And nobody can ever take that away from you. Sure they can't.
The peace that is here, that's all.
Absolutely. The peace that's here and that you take home with you, and how much you look forward to coming, and how quickly the time goes, and then, yeah. So we've loved it. We'll keep coming back as long as we've got the health, and yeah.
You got a favourite spot in Medjugorje?
Well, it was always the Blue Cross, but you know, you're more and more, and I think that's the story, you know, of your conversion as well. I'm more drawn now to adoration and the oasis of peace. You know, spend lots of time at the Blue Cross and we did Apparition Hill this morning, but it's the Blessed Sacrament now and I think it's always through the Immaculate Heart of Mary to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, isn't it? And I think that's been part of our growth, that we're not. You know, we go and we speak to Our Lady and we say our prayers, but we spend as much time as we can with our son.
In adoration, that's
part of our conversion story, you know, that we've come to know Jesus more through and want to spend time with him, and that's what she does. Mm-hmm. You know, when Our Lady does that, job done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tick that box.
Yes.
They're there.
And what is the conversion story? Why do you do that now? What changed?
Because, well, I think you begin to realise that that's the thing that's changing you most. All of the time that you spend in front of the Blessed Sacrament, I think, is the most powerful thing. When you realise that you're sitting face to face with God, and it's just such a shame that people don't realise that that's what's happening, that's who's there. You know, and when you sometimes back home, the adoration here in the evening is so powerful, isn't it, with all the people there in front of you? We don't get that back home. People don't realise that, and I'm talking about practising Catholics as well, do you know what I mean, who really, you go to Mass or what, but in terms, and we say we believe in the true presence, but sometimes we don't act like we do that, and you think if we truly did believe, our churches would be full. You know, you can go to adoration back home and there's a handful of people there. And as Father Leon said, if there was a football star or somebody else there, they would be queuing up round the block. So we need to look at that back home. We need to look at how we can bring people back to that true belief of the true presence of Jesus, body and blood, soul and divinity. Do you know that he's there? Speak to him face to face, listen.
You get answers, no?
You do get answers.
Can you describe that process? People don't understand that. It's the living God who is with us and he gives us answers. How does he give answers to you?
So sometimes, well, it's listening is hard as well. It's not easy. It's not easy to sit in front, the Blessed Sacrament. So it's hard to listen, but he changes you. He does change you, and you realise that, and you feel that love, and it gives you a good steer in life. So you can't come away from that and not be changed. I think that's the one thing about adoration. You can do lots of other things and remain the same for a long time, and I would defy anybody to spend time in front of the Blessed Sacrament and not be changed. It just can't happen. It's the same Jesus that healed the sick and raised the dead and made the blind see. He's there, do you know what I mean? So he can't not be changed. And for everybody it'll be a different experience, but the more time you spend, the more time you want to spend. So that's testimony of what's happening. Do you know what I mean? You're choosing, it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Medjugorje, confession is so important. What would you tell people why confession is so important?
Oh gosh, you just wish that people back home could see what happens here in confession and see how people are desperate to go to confession here. You look at the queues and people sitting outside. My goodness, that would never happen back home, you know. And you might get a bit of a queue at Advent or, you know, Easter or Divine Mercy Sunday, but I mean, you look at the young people who, you know, are sitting and pouring out their heart and having, you know, to God. It's not to the priest, or it's not, and they really believe that. We don't believe that back home. I think, you know, the young people think, why would you go and tell your sins to some priest, you know, and it's not, and I think that's the change as well. It's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If they, as young children, if they spent more time in adoration and come to know God, there wouldn't be that barrier for confession, because they would know it's the same God in a different sacrament that you're having, in that time in adoration helps you in confession as well. Do you know, it's all working together,
So true. And how do you feel after confession? How is it for you?
Oh, it's just it's amazing. It is. And it's hard, and it's a regular thing. And I think the more you do it, the more it becomes part of your, you know. And the deeper you get into it, but it is hard at the beginning. It is hard for young people. Do you know what I mean? And everybody gets that, and everybody gets embarrassed, and nobody likes talking about or having a good look at their own, you know, weak spots. But certainly there's a lightness about it. There definitely is. Do you know? You really do. You do feel that. Absolutely. You know, and there's no wrong way to do it. You just need to start doing it. That's it. You just need to make a start. There isn't any right or wrong. There's only you and God, and nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go wrong. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Give it. You need to go.
So
that's
true.
it.
And then we say the proper way, when we are well confessed, we are in a state of grace, we can receive Holy Communion, we can go to Holy Mass, receive Christ in the Eucharist. Can you explain what it means for you, Holy Mass, the Eucharist, Christ in the Eucharist?
Goodness, I mean, it's the closest you're ever going to get to heaven, isn't it? Do you know, when you're there at the consecration, that's when heaven meets earth, that's when it all comes together, you know, and God is there. Offering up himself to God, you know, and you're there, and we're all witnessing it, all the saints, everybody's there, do you know what I mean? And I remember once I had gone to this course, and they explained it like, you know, when you're at Mass, you know, at the consecration, when the priest lifts the host, it's as if time is annulled. There is no time, and you're back there. Yeah. You know, you're back there at the crucifixion with Christ. We're all there. Yeah. We're all there around there. That's it. Time doesn't matter. It annuls time. And that's the most wonderful thing.
Yeah. Angels are there, Our Ladies, right?
Everybody, all the saints that you pray to, all these novenas and that they were making, they're all there. The holy souls in purgatory, the people you've lost, we're all there all together at that one time, and that's amazing. You know, that's just and you can't come out of that not feeling better. You know, you've received the Eucharist and you're taking Jesus with you, and that's the best thing you can do. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And for you, fasting is difficult to do that? Or?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh, it is. That is the most difficult, and you come here and you think, right, I'm going, that's it. And it is. And as I said earlier, it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps backward. And it's not, you don't have to go for the big one, I think, right away, the bread and water. There are other things we can fast on that we can do without, but there's undoubtedly that is a really, really difficult one. I don't think anybody finds that easy. And I suppose everybody needs to think in different things that they can do without and fast for and build it up. But there's no doubt it's powerful. Absolutely
it as well,
powerful when you do it, you know, when you're able to fast and pray. And then feast after the fast, you know what I mean? It's not all, but that's a hard one. I mean, even after all these years, still very much a work in progress.
Me too.
Aye, but that's we're all yes.
You pray the rosary?
Every day.
Every day. Is your husband together or?
But not always together, no, he's out at work, but yeah, pray the rosary every day.
Well, why do you do that?
But, obviously, I don't think we didn't do the rosary every day before we came here, but obviously it's one after the Mass that is the most powerful prayer, really. Mass and adoration and then praying the rosary. And I suppose it was like a way of, as well, like you say, sometimes you have books full of different prayers and novenas and you think, just compact it all into the word. That's the most powerful prayer, then why not use that? If Our Lady's our most powerful intercessor and mother, then we need to use that, so do it all. And I've done a consecration to Our Lady as well and offered the rosary to her rather than having lists of, well, this is for that and that's for this one and let her do. So I'm in the process of doing another one just now.
Wow. And
So-
you said you had a friend and you told her she was very old. She said, get baptized. She wasn't baptized yet. What is so important about baptism? Just in
Oh
general.
my goodness, well that's when you receive the Holy Spirit, and without the Holy Spirit then we can't do anything. You know what I mean? We can't, and my goodness, it was just such a miracle to go all that time and raise her family and everything. It was amazing. And to think that there was a chance that she might have missed out, that is terrifying. So yeah, that was wonderful, and at that age that she wanted, and how happy her family were that she was baptised at that age. I mean, that was amazing.
Wow.
It was fabulous. Absolutely, it was great. Aye.
That's what Father Pio said. If you get one soul for the Lord, you helped her on the way to get baptized. So beautiful that story.
Yeah, it was just a wee nudge. I mean, it wasn't a lot. Because people become complacent and think, oh, I'll do it, or I need to do that, or gosh, the next time I see. But we can't be complacent. We never know the minute.
Yes.
We never know. You never why. So that was all. It wasn't a huge amount of effort or work. It was a wee nudge, a wee gentle nudge, and a wee persistent nudge.
Whoa! Irish strong, Scottish strong
Scottish,
woman. Yeah, whoa!
I know.
Unbelievable.
So,
You read the Bible. How is that for you?
yeah, well, I've done some Bible classes. Reading the Bible's difficult as well, I think, without guidance, and I think you need to be. But I've got the Hallow up and the Bible in a year with, I don't know if you did, Father Mike Schmitz. And my daughter got me a Bible actually, which is really, really good, which has a timeline. It's an American Bible that follows the teacher, the Father Michael Smith sort of thing. So yeah, I do that. But the Bible's hard.
You got a
To
favorite
pick up.
scripture?
I do from, I'd say Luke's really in relation to Advent. St. Luke's Gospel and Advent, and that's always a good one, isn't it? To help you at Christmas and things like that. But yeah.
And favorite saint?
Favourite saint, well, St Anthony was always a great saint of ours, a great saint of the family. My mum and dad went to St Anthony's Novena, and now St Joseph, very powerful saint as well, and Padre Pio. But there are so many, yeah. And all their names.
Why St Joseph, if I may ask? Because people ask me to talk a bit about St Joseph.
Well, I did the consecration to St Joseph. Father Don Calloway, an American priest who brought out this book, and it was like the Marian consecration, the 33 days, but it was a consecration to St Joseph leading up to his feast day, and I found that very powerful. And especially when you've got boys, St Joseph's a very important saint, for men.
Yeah.
When you've got young boys that are getting married, and so I suppose it was maybe at that time, and that I came to it and thought that would be a good shout for my for my sons. No, but it was really powerful, and I've always continued now to St Joseph, and I continue to pray to him. And Wednesday is traditionally St Joseph's Day in the Catholic Church. So. And I don't know, Scott Hahn has done a rosary, So So I do that.
Wow. And
sometimes in the Wednesday.
What would you tell young people as an advice? You're married, you have children. What is the secret? Everybody wants that long-lasting relationship, that marriage that keeps going. What would you give as an advice, looking back at your marriage?
It is, that you're always. What is it? Bishop Robert Barron says you're willing the good of the other. When you enter into marriage, it's about making the best you can for each other. It's not about yourself all the time, isn't it? Although I bet if you asked Dennis that, he wouldn't say No, but I think you're working together, and especially then when you have children, you get lost in your children and it becomes, it's just a unit, you work together for each other all the time, I think. Yeah.
That's how it should be.
It's the only way that it works. It's the only way that it works, really, isn't it? And you just hope that your family see that example, and
Beautiful. And what did your parents say something? Who you should marry? How to choose?
No. My dad had died just after I met Dennis, but no.
Isn't that amazing?
I think it was just an example. We came from Irish parents, and Irish people don't talk a lot. And well, they do talk a lot, but not about the important things. So there wasn't really a lot of guidance, in that way. So I was quite young when I met Dennis, and we've been very lucky.
Did they give you any life
41
advice?
years, happy.
Did they give you any life advice?
No, I think, if my dad was it was more by example, I'd say. My dad was a good Catholic father, and my mum, and they were a very happy couple, and it was more, I think, by their example than actually sitting down having heart-to-hearts with you. It wasn't something that was more done then, but they were strong people in their faith and had a great relationship themselves. So
they had that love.
We were very lucky.
Yep.
Yeah, we were very lucky, that we've had that for all these years.
How would you describe that happy relationship? Why was it so happy? That relationship they had?
My mum and dad's?
Yeah.
I do think it's a lot about trust, and it's about peace in a relationship. That and when you have that in a relationship, then that's brought into the home, isn't it? That's your home. Your home becomes a peaceful place, and when you've got a peaceful home, then you would hope that people can thrive. And that's the important thing. That's what you're providing. But that's the thing that grows as well and changes as you get, the longer you're married, it's just changes all the time, and hopefully gets better. Your relationship gets stronger, as you move through life and experience all these different things together. Yeah.
You have that experience in your life with your husband?
I think, absolutely, and you do. And because you go through times in your life where you've got raising a family, you don't have much time for each other. And then as your family grow up and move on, then you move into another, and that's part of as well. The pilgrimages and the importance of making pilgrimages as grandparents, because you can't interfere in you hope not to interfere in your children's lives that much. The way that you can really help them is by praying for them. That's our job now. That's what I see as grandparents. That's our job, to spend the time that we have, and we have the time that they don't sometimes, to pray for them.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah. And at the end of the interview, what would you tell people? Why come to Medjugorje one time?
Oh goodness, because you just don't know what you're missing. You need to come. You owe it to yourself to come to Medjugorje. You owe it to your family to come to Medjugorje and spend some time with Our Lady, because that's what you're doing. I just believe it's like a snow globe. Medjugorje, no matter where you are, Our Lady's watching you and guiding you and holding you by the hand. And there's a peace in your heart here that that you go away and you want to replicate and build and keep all of your life. That's what it is. There's just a piece here, and you know that Our Lady's here, and you know that God lives, and that Jesus is here. He's alive, and it's a loving church and a loving, So you've got to go. It's a terrible, and people, there are so many people who raise objections to Medjugorje, and you think, my goodness. But at the end of the day, and we know that it hasn't been completely approved it hasn't been approved by the Catholic Church, but just think of Our Lady and been coming here for all these years and never took the time to come and visit her. How sad would that be, do you know?
Yes.
And if, you will still get the same graces, even if it turned out if the Catholic Church do not approve, you'll get the same graces by coming here. But just imagine how you'll feel when you realise what's been happening and you never took the time to come and visit. That's what I think.
And last question is, what would you give your younger self, 18 years, as an advice out of your life experience? Is there any life lesson you would?
I would have hoped to start this journey much younger.
The faith journey.
My faith journey. I know that I've always been, but there's a different, you practicing Catholic, you always went to Mass, but I mean, what has happened since we've come to Medjugorje, as they say in the song, I wish I knew then what I know now. Isn't it? You can't put an old head on young shoulders, is that what they say sometimes? But I just wish maybe we'd started on this journey sooner.
What is so beautiful about that journey? The closeness to Christ, or what is it?
I suppose it's everybody wants to be loved. That's their purpose, isn't it?
Yes.
That's our purpose in life. We want to be loved.
And you feel you are loved by God? No?
And that's much more. So you're confident just the way you are.
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be. It's just the way you are. And He knows better than me, and anybody else, because you don't admit how bad you are at some things or how poor you, and that's great, and that's how we love our children. And I always look at my faith in that way. So, how much I love my children and how nothing could take me away from them, and that's only a fraction of how much God loves me. So, what's not to love about that? Because that's what we're born for, born out of love, to be loved forever.
And to love as well.
And to love, absolutely. So,
wow, what can
that's our joy in Medjugorje.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.